something a little bit different today. We're not going to sit across a 6-foot table and talk to somebody. We're going to talk across a wing about a really cool airplane. I got Dave Hirschman here, and behind him, hey Dave.
Hello.
We got the AOPA sweepstakes RV-10. The first time we've ever given away a experimental airplane. That's pretty awesome. Now, some people might have seen it about a year ago, I guess 6 months to a year ago. It made some stops at a couple of events. It was yellow, pretty rough paint, didn't have great avionics, and it's changed quite a bit. So we'll do a bit of a walk around and see what it's like. Dave has a lot of familiarity with RVs in general. He's been flying them for how long?
Oh gosh, 15 years.
15 years,
yeah.
There you go. And him and I actually flew one kind of like this early in my flying career, which is 3 years ago.
It was my mom's RV-10. My mom used to have a RV-10.
There you go. And it was incredible. Mm-hmm. And I still tell you the story where I took a 172 out the day after we flew the RV-10, and I almost aborted the takeoff because I thought there was something wrong because it was so slow compared to a day earlier flying the RV-10. It was unbelievable. So very cool airplane. Let's walk around and take a look at everything that's been done to it.
Well, if we start out in the very front, we got this 3-blade MT propeller, and this just came back from
it's brand new, right?
It was just overhauled. But you can't tell the difference from brand new. I mean, I'm running my hand over it. It used to be chipped and scratched and dented, and it always ran smooth, but it didn't look so great. It had been out on lots of gravel strips up on the Canadian prairie where it used to live.
Is a 3-blade prop normally on RV-10s, or is
no?
That
I think they're the most popular.
Gotcha.
There are several manufacturers that make 3-blade props for the RV. This MT is it's got a great reputation for being incredibly buttery smooth and super reliable, and it lives up to that reputation.
Buttery smooth prop. That's a new one.
No, it's true. It's this natural composite, they call it. They're actually wood. They're laminated wood propellers.
I saw some of your pictures. They look like a piece of art.
They are beautiful. It's like it's a shame to cover them up with paint. I know the paint has some really protective anti-UV qualities, but the props inside are beautiful. This one has a brand new governor, overhauled hub. It's perfect. All right, the engine is a Lycoming IO 540. It's got about 650 to 700 total hours on it. It's really in the prime of its life. We've been doing engine, oil analysis of at each oil change, and they come back clean. This engine is perfect. We've got Champion Aerospace gave us a couple brand new magnetos that we've put on it. It's fuel injected engine. It starts easy. It runs really strong. Fuel the cylinder head and exhaust gas temperatures run right where they're supposed to. It's just a pleasure to fly behind.
Now, that's actually a really good point that we should talk about. You were talking about the prop, a couple other pieces, and you probably have a lot more just to say about as we walk around the airplane. But AOPA gives away an airplane every year and a half or so. I thought the last one was the coolest one, which was the Super Cub on Amphibs. Now, this is a pretty hell of a challenger, I would say. But it's not just us doing the work. There's a lot of industry that chips in to make this happen and to transform these airplanes into something this beautiful.
We look high and low, and we search out the very best technology and the very best craftsmen to show what our industry can do. And this is the result of the best of the best. This paint job is, every time I see it, I'm just floored. It's the transformation that took place with this paint is hard to overstate.
We'll throw that on the screen. The yellow was almost like rolled on kind of flat paint, right?
Yeah, it came out of several different Krylon cans. It was chipped, nicked, dented. None of it really matched. Yellow's is a hard color to get right to begin with, and this one was not professionally painted. Now, it was a Lancaster Aero in Smoketown, Pennsylvania that did the paint on this, and they just knocked it out of the park.
I think we should look a little closer here because it's absolutely beautiful, and it's hard to see, but I think maybe on the wings it's a little bit more visible. There's like a metal flake in all of the paints, right?
There is, and there's 2 coats of clear coat on top of it that protect it and really bring out the shine.
Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful.
And in addition to, you know, you'll never see it, but in addition to the you know, making the paint look cosmetically great, you know, the craftsmen at Lancaster Aero did a phenomenal job in repairing, you know, some broken fiberglass and some different things that were dented. These doors now, they close like a bank vault. So I depress this, rotate it 180 degrees, and you'll see how beautifully it fits. It's like a Mercedes door, and it's the company is called Just Plain Around in Salt Lake City, and they supply the kit, and it's a fair amount of work to install the kit. The people at Lancaster Aero did the installation, but boy did they do a beautiful job, because the fit didn't used to be perfect, and now it is. LED lights on the wingtips are from Whelen. There's synchronized strobes that are just blindingly bright. B&C alternator, B&C starter, Concorde battery, and everything we've got for the airplane has come through Aircraft Spruce. We just place our orders through them, and they've been terrific at quick turnarounds and getting us the very best components that we could possibly get.
I just noticed the tail number. Want to tell me whose idea that was? Because that's pretty awesome.
Well, it's like I was telling a colleague about the airplane, and they were asking some questions, and how powerful is it? And I said it's got a 260 horsepower engine, and their response was 260 horsepower. Oh my God! You know, that's who would have thought it was that powerful? So 260. OMG! It just you know, this has been the airplane's end number the entire time we've had it. But when the letters and numbers were all the same color, it didn't really jump out. Now you can't not notice the OMG. Craig Barnett is from Scheme Designers, designed this beautiful paint scheme, and we were talking to him about it.
And we work with scheme designers almost on every one of the airplanes.
Absolutely,
Right?
They've done more. I think over 20 of the paint schemes on AOPA sweepstakes airplanes.
That's 20 plus years of sweepstakes airplanes.
Oh, absolutely, and he's the best at it. But even Craig, who notices every detail. When I asked him about the OMG, you know, he was Dave, what are you talking about, OMG? And the end number, the OMG, you know, it wasn't until we pointed out to him and asked that it be, you know, that he find some way to make it come out a little bit, that he came up with these colors, and now they just jump right out at you.
That's awesome. All right, you want to look inside?
Sure.
All right, so the interior got redone quite a bit, from electronics all the way to overhead console that looks like something in a Lamborghini. Actually, it kind of does.
That's an interesting comparison. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I see what you're talking about. But yeah, it was SF Sport Aviation, South Florida Sport Aviation. They did the interior. And it's a leather interior, incredibly comfortable. It's got this memory foam. You know, I
kind of wish my car would have this interior.
I do too. You can sit in this for. I've flown it for 4 hours at a stretch, and it's incredibly comfortable and ergonomically excellent. The ventilation system, you know, fresh air comes in from a NACA vent back by the baggage compartment, and it actually blows forward to come through the, you know, and down on the overhead. Really pleasant. You know, we've also got a NACA vent with air scoops up on the front for the front seat occupants. But
now that panel is pretty incredible. Tell me about that panel.
The panel, it's by Advanced Flight Systems. Rob Hickman from Advanced Flight Systems actually built the panel at his shop in Portland, Oregon. And then he had everything connected, everything integrated, talking to each other. He actually took the settings. He's an RV-10 builder and owner, and he took all the settings from his own personal RV-10 and transferred them here. And you'll notice that the airplane symbol on the avionics is an RV-10. So it's a yellow RV-10 like this one used to be. we'll have to get them to change that to a red RV-10. But we've got a 12-inch multifunction display in the middle and two 12-inch primary flight displays on the side. The brain of the system is this Avidyne IFD 550, just a tremendously smart piece of avionics, and it provides all the data, all the information that's displayed on the screen. It comes from the Avidyne.
That interior is incredible. I mean, Dave, that could shame certified airplanes all day long. I mean, what's the shortcoming here? Is there one?
Personally, I would.
No, I'm asking an RV, right. 15-year RV guy.
I mean, the RVs. It's like. I am sold on the experimental amateur built category. You know, it's like these. You're not going to have the same sort of standardization in and you won't have the same documentation. You won't have the same degree of regulation. But the beauty to of the experimental category is that you can have an A&P mechanic
that's the thing, right? So the servicing is actually a little bit more cost effective. Is that the deal?
Right. Since we didn't build this airplane ourselves, we don't have what's called the repairman certificate. We can't do the inspections each year.
You can only do that if you do that yourself?
If you do that, right. But any airframe and power plant mechanic can do the annual condition inspection, and you don't have to have an IA. You know and all these avionics. These are non-TSO'd avionics, meaning that these are.
Wow. It looks like something out of a jet when you look in there. It's amazing.
It does, and it's like, to me, a lot of the non-TSO'd avionics like this are better. They're better because they can use the latest, greatest stuff, and they're not wed to a long certification process in which the avionics are somewhat antiquated by the time they're installed. These are terrific, and I fall back in love with them every 56 days because they the updates are free. You know, it's just part of the process when you buy from them. That's what you get those updates automatically.
Wait, so that's the original Tesla? If you're getting over-air updates?
Oh, right, yeah, you got to download them. You can't,
close enough.
But it's like it's the same concept,
right?
And it's a great community to be part of. You know, the RV community, the Advanced and Avidyne. People share information, and
that's pretty awesome.
And it's they help each other out. There's a really great one for all and all for one sort of ethos about it. And that's really a terrific thing about the experimental category too, is that it, if you're stuck somewhere, if you have a tire blowout somewhere, and you just put it out there that hey, RV world, I've got a problem. It's amazing the amount of help and resources that they can bring to bear as a community.
All right. It's never ending with the interior, but let's talk about it a little bit more because Dave's got more to tell.
Well, it's the carbon fiber panel. It comes from a company called Aerosport Products, and
is it actual carbon fiber?
It is actual carbon fiber. It's not imitation. It's the real thing. And that center console is the same way. And the throttle quadrant moved on this to this place where it feels like now it's in your sort of hip pocket when you're operating the throttle quadrant, but it's really comfortable. It's really convenient. It's great having that center console where you've got a little bit of extra storage area, and this panel was Aerosport Products and Advanced Flight Systems work really closely together, and they have pre-cut panels for these products.
Wow. And this is a true traveling airplane, right? So even the back seat, it's got more than enough room for dog and a family, right?
Absolutely. You can put 4 200-pound people in this airplane full gas and 50 pounds of bags and still be within the weight limits. And really the best seat in the house in this one is the one that's behind the co-pilot seat, because you can see that there's a sort of 60-40 split between the real estate and the back seat. So the person sitting behind the co-pilot actually has the roomiest and seat and the thickest padding, and it's a great place to spend a flight. One kind of interesting thing about the panel is the redundancy, and so
well, you got 3 giant screens, so
right,
you can
and
move things
then
around.
they've got redundant AHRS, so the attitude and heading reference system. There's 2 in there, plus we have a standby instrument to provide a 3rd, and if that isn't enough, the Abaddon is a 4th. So there's just
and there's backup batteries for those and everything else, right?
We've got standby batteries too. So a really safe, redundant.
So unless you get hit by an EMP, you have something running.
Right, absolutely. And I feel so almost omniscient and secure when I'm flying this airplane, because it's any aviation question that comes to mind, you can answer with the avionics, and weather, traffic, other what time the FBO is going to close. I mean, all that information is available to you.
Mark Baker would probably ask, can you get country music on that?
It does. You can Bluetooth music from your phone through the system. Absolutely.
Because I think he considers an aircraft not airworthy unless he can play country music.
Absolutely.
Flying,
I've had that experience with Mark. Yeah, just recently, as a matter of fact.
You do not mess with the stations.
Yeah, it's like V1, rotate, gear in the well, flaps up, and country music is on.
Hey, you know what? We all have our preferences.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Pantera would just cause some inappropriate flying habits. Country music makes you an even-keeled pilot, I'm sure.
Right. So got that right. Just soothe the savage beast.
That's right. Oh, and there's one under there, sounds like.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely.
So, tell me about that airplane a little bit more compared to the alternatives. You guys did a fly-off with the Cirrus. Of course, the customers of Cirrus and customers of RV-10, likely very, very different people. Right. But the airplanes are surprisingly similar. Is that right?
Right, and it absolutely. I was stunned by the similarity in performance. I kind of thought going in that the RV-10 would take off shorter, maybe climb a little better, stall slower. But I thought the Cirrus would take it in the drag race, in the just flat out speed
300
contest.
horsepower, right?
300 horsepower, 310. For a limited time period. And Cirrus is I don't mean to sound like I'm throwing rocks at the Cirrus, because the Cirrus is a wonderful airplane.
I mean, but in the end, if you want to travel in comfort, it's probably one of the best piston choices, if not the best piston choice out there.
But the design philosophy of Richard Van Grunsven, who's a minimalist, that it's like he wants to do everything really well. He wants to, but nothing is meant to be, totally outstanding. He wants to have good all-around performance, is what he calls total performance, and he makes a light, straight, mechanically simple airplane with a Hershey bar wing that's relatively easy to build, and
so it's almost like the Lotus philosophy, right? It's like less is more.
Exactly. And we've all heard the saying that there's no substitute for horsepower, there is no replacement for displacement. Totally true. But there's no substitute for lightness either, and Van Grunsven goes to the light side, and then the Klapmeyers, totally different philosophy. They wanted to have a super technologically advanced, the safest airplane, the best materials, most newest, lightest materials, and so they incorporated all those things into the Cirrus.
And they kind of build the airplane around the interior. I mean, the Cirrus jet is even bigger proof of that, right? Right. It's around the comfort of the occupants.
Right, and and these and the SR series were designed about the same time. The SR-22, early 2000s. That's when the RV-10 came along, but totally different design philosophies, completely different personalities among the founders of the companies and the designers of the airplane, and yet the performance is almost
similar.
identical. Yeah,
and they're
totally
they're
true.
both. I mean, this is just absolutely stunning airplane. And when you think about, somebody can build one or buy and finish one for $250,000. Is that about right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, a lot of them do a lot less than that. You know,
I mean, that's pretty incredible for the performance, the traveling that you can do with this. It's pretty incredible.
Incredible. I mean, there's just the value that this represents.
Although I think you can get one for under $100 now. Right.
Oh, that's right. It's right. Exactly. You can get one for the price of an AOPA membership, and that
I had to put a plug in that. Sorry, man.
No, it's totally true. And you know the main differentiator, it's easy for me to say. The main difference between an RV-10 and a Cirrus is the Cirrus Airframe parachute.
Yeah.
And it's made by a company called BRS, Ballistic Recovery Systems. BRS is now making an airframe parachute for the RV-10.
Huh.
And it goes back in the baggage compartment. It weighs about 80 pounds.
Well, this is an absolutely stunning airplane. And considering the current situation, we're trying to stay 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to take a little while to resolve, but as soon as more aviation events are back online, hopefully sooner than later, we'll be seeing the airplane around the country, I'm assuming.
Right, absolutely. And I can't wait for people to see this in person, because that when they see the quality of the work that the craftsmen who have contributed their time and effort to this project, when they see what they've done, they will be blown away, just as you and I are.
It's stunning, and if you've seen the airplane before and you see it now, even more so, right? It was a truly sort of an experimental project, and now it's nothing left undone.
It was a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And the transformation, it has gone from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and it is just the ultimate monarch butterfly now. It's as perfect as we could make it.
Well, we've talked about RV being a little bit of sort of the Lotus of aviation. In car business, it was always, Lotus is about taking weight out, right? Less is more. The engine can be smaller, you can have more fun flying it. RVs are kind of like that. Most of the airplanes are, but the 10 is kind of an outlier in a way, because that's more made for traveling and comfort. Maybe not to the extent of Cirrus, but it's pretty close.
Right. It is made to be a true 4-place traveling machine, and it's very true to the designer Richard Van Grunsman's total performance philosophy, in which versatility is the key ingredient. And the speed ratio in this one is remarkable. The difference between the stall speed and the top speed is almost 4x. And that just shows an incredibly efficient.
And you call that speed ratio?
Speed ratio.
I don't know if you guys knew about that, but I like the term speed ratio. I think I'm going to use it just in a lot of conversations from now on.
But it's you think about it in a 172, for example, a speed ratio of a 172 is about 2.5 to 1. It stalls about 60, it goes about 120. And so when you see an airplane that has got a 4x speed ratio, it's really quite remarkable.
Wow. Well, if I can find a way to be eligible without quitting my job at AOPA, which I'm not willing to quit for it, although I probably would if I was guaranteed I was going to win it. It's absolutely awesome. Thanks for working on it. Thanks for your time today.
My pleasure. And you and I,
safe.
we kind of already won, because we've got to fly this magnificent airplane during the time it's been here,
we'll take good care of it until later on at the end of 2020 when it's given away to a lucky AOPA pilot.
Right, fourth quarter of this year, somebody is going to take this home as their very own, and I can't wait to see the look on their face.
It's going to be awesome. Hey, thanks, Dave.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
your time. Talk to you.